All right, here we go.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy,
A tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
Where are you taking us on this learning journey, Hayley?
So for our learning journey today, I will be giving you a lesson that will make you itch.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was itching during my research.
That
It made my skin crawl.
That is apropos because we had a flea scare in the house this weekend.
No way.
I think
Oh my
maybe
God.
after the hike, we brought in like a couple fleas because I found one and then Alec found one. And then I had an internal meltdown, but none have been cited since. So
What
I
about
think
ticks?
I think it was just a couple. No ticks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, take some of the Cat's Revolutions. Each put it on each other's necks.
I would like a human revolution.
Me too.
I don't
Just
understand
one and
why
done.
it's not a
Take care of
thing.
the bugs.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of ticks. I'm sure I've told this story before, but in elementary school, we're eating breakfast. My dad is like, stay still. And he pulled a tick off of my forehead. It was just rooting around in my hair.
I've pulled like 4 ticks off Duke already this season. It's disgusting.
There
no,
was a
thank you.
Reddit post of a guy that said my eye was itchy, and my girlfriend pointed, and he had a tick on his eyelash, like latched onto his eyelid.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ticks are horrifying.
They have no boundaries.
They really don't.
Also, you've said, I want a human revolution, and it sounded to people that don't know revolution is tick medicine like you wanted some kind of revolt.
I mean, that too.
That sounds good.
I'm too lazy to do it myself, but if anyone else wants to.
Like, I know what the issues are, and I know you have to be the change, but I'm so
It's hard being the
tired.
change.
And that's what they want.
You're a pageant queen. You're like, I don't like ticks, and I want a human revolution, and they all like get a standing ovation.
I think anybody could get on board, you know? It's
Yeah.
broad enough. Who likes ticks, first of all? Second of all, human revolution
It could go either way.
for anything.
Yeah.
We need to get shirts that say human revolution.
I don't know how to do it, but something needs to change. I don't know what, but this shit ain't right.
Something's wrong here. Speaking of it, change, I have a science learning journey about a controversial new food that will be changing food production in the
AI?
future. In the very near future. No, not AI.
Okay, I have no idea what that could mean, but I'm game.
Yeah,
I'll be here.
It's good news. We like it. I like it.
like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it just more cheese?
No, I wish it applied to cheese. I'm sure in the future it will, but as of right now,
okay,
no.
I'm intrigued. Speaking of food, I have made the decision to go mostly vegetarian.
Wow, what brought that on?
Okay, so because of this reasoning, it should have happened much sooner. But I listened to an episode of Swindled, the podcast, and they were just like going really into detail about how animals are treated for poultry and all of that. And then they played the sounds of like pigs being slaughtered, and I was like, that's it for me.
Yeah.
That's it. I've been like totally pretty much turned off
cure
to
ya.
it. Yeah. I went through all of our HelloFresh recipes and
Change them to
changed
veggie.
them all,
What's Tommy
yeah.
gonna do?
He's like, I support you fully.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it. You know, we eat lunch separately, so
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do whatever I want for lunch.
And with a lot of those HelloFresh recipes, like he could just like add chicken to his portion or something if he
that's
needed
what
to.
I told him too. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, we can always add protein.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I wanted
congratulations.
to tell you. Thank you.
I'm glad to have you on our team.
I'm gonna miss salami though. I will miss it.
Well, I have good news for you.
Yeah.
In my lesson.
Very good. Okay, so this
Yeah.
was perfect timing.
It
then.
really is perfect timing. I'm so happy for you.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting.
I don't think I'll like truly miss it. It's
Yeah.
always just been like easier, and Tommy like needs meat to function,
Yeah.
or he passes out or something. I don't know.
So when you say mostly vegetarian, what does that mean?
That means that when I'm in Cincinnati, I will be eating Skyline chili.
It's good to have a limit. Is that the only exception?
I think so. It's the only one I can think of. And since the vegetarian chili made you still have bowel issues,
Okay, that's because it sat in a hot car all day. Don't blame the vegetarian chili.
It's just like at a buffet when they keep it under the heat.
You are much less likely to get food poisoning from vegetarian food.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was the vegetarian part of the chili that was the problem.
But I will say the vegetarian skyline is very good too. So who knows when the time comes.
It's good. I'm sure the real thing is better, but I like beans.
Beans are good for your
heart. The magical fruit.
The more you eat, the more you fart. The more you fart, the better you feel. So let's eat beans for every meal.
I had a kid rip ass in class today, speaking of farting. And it was loud. And then two boys just spun around and pointed at each other.
Like the Spider-Man meme.
Like the Spider-Man meme. It was so funny.
Oh my God. I love it. Okay. Do we have something? I don't know.
All I have is happy birthday, Alec. It was Alec's birthday.
Oh, thanks. I feel like we've been riffing on my birthday for like 3 weeks.
No,
I don't think we've mentioned it.
All.
Okay.
But happy birthday.
I meant just like in life. Like earlier last week, our trivia team name was like, it's Alec's birthday.
Well, it's your birthday for a week.
For a month, I would say.
Okay, for a month.
And we won best team name, and I felt like stolen valor because like my birthday's not till Sunday.
He told us we couldn't name our team Happy Birthday Alec because then he would have to explain to everyone that it wasn't really his birthday. I'm like, your birthday is in 2 days,
sense.
so no, you don't have to do that.
I pictured everyone at the bar chanting, "Let's see his ID." And I would be like, my wallet's in the car.
Maybe you need Zoloft. That sounds like anxiety.
It's a bit much.
Okay, you have great, you have no anxiety surrounding your birthday, right?
I'm medicated.
Hey, she's never agreed to do any birthday team name.
No, and you know what? Now that I'm medicated, my birthday doesn't bother me.
Oh, okay.
It's no biggie.
Yeah, I celebrated my
thing.
birthday this year for the first time in like 5 years. Maybe more than that.
And
Okay.
here's how I see birthdays. I was explaining it to Tommy. I was like, so September 18th is my birthday. From September 19th until July 18th, the day before Tommy's birthday, it's my birthday. And then from July 19th, his birthday, until September 17th is his birthday.
So the month starts on your birthday?
No, it's more than a month. It's
Oh.
just whenever the next big birthday is.
You
So
have
it's
a
like,
season.
You have a season, a birthday season. So it's like your birthday, Kat, until it's Alec's birthday.
That's
in
a long
May.
time.
Yeah, it
It's like
is.
6
And then
months.
from Alec's birthday until Tommy's, if we're doing the 4 people in the room, it's his birthday. And then from Tommy's to mine. That's actually almost perfectly split.
Yeah, it is. We planned our friendship really well. It's kind of like our friendship was created in a lab to be
Kismet.
perfect.
You
Well,
could make like
little
couples
sense.
calendars with like an equinox and a solstice for the couple's birthdays, where it's like you each get half of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but not everyone's as. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people aren't as perfect as we are. They're
Yeah.
not evenly spaced.
Sorry, guys. Sucks to
I
suck.
was like, everyone's birthday's 6 months apart, right? With their significant other.
If it's not, then something's wrong.
Alec and like all his siblings were born within like 2 weeks of each other in terms of birthdays.
Yeah, when's your parents' anniversary? Must be in like September.
They're
Or
July.
Some kind of special.
I think July. but
Yeah, actually,
does that add up?
is that
A
about
season
9
of love.
months?
I don't think so.
July.
Do the math at
That's
home,
10
folks.
months.
August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 10 months. Yeah. Could have a long gestation period.
Yeah, y'all were
Or,
cooked
you
for-
know, at the end of July, Alec was born at the beginning of May.
Yeah.
It does check out. Because is it all your siblings or just you and Cam and Thomas?
One brother was November.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry
Lone
for everyone
Ranger.
at home that has
Yes.
to listen to these.
Yeah.
dates.
Anyway,
Girl
Hayley,
math.
tell me a lesson.
Alrighty. So Michelle from Miami, Florida developed a rash one day. It was itchy and made up of clusters of these small red dots. Over time, the rash got worse. But for 2 months, she had this rash. No one could explain what was going
It
on.
sounds
with
like
her.
a ringworm epidemic.
Oh my God, except for we knew exactly what it was. And we were
we
trying.
thought we did. And then it turned out to be dermatitis on
for Alec. But we
yeah.
definitely had.
Yeah, it was ringworm on you.
It was a double whammy.
And to me, I had it on my leg. Do you remember how bad that got?
Yeah,
it got to be like the
nasty.
size of my palm.
And you kept covering it with a bandage.
And that made it worse because then it turned into like
festering.
it spread into like the entire shape of the bandage. And then I found out you're not supposed to do that.
You like created a whole new type of it, a new strain.
It was massive.
It was mad. It was angry. So much like us with our ringworm, she had no idea what's going on. And after watching an NBC News report, Michelle got a sinking feeling. She went to her bed, lifted the mattress, and there she found the culprit of her rash.
No.
Bed bugs.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Lyme disease.
I thought Lyme disease at first too until the bed.
Yeah.
It's like the Lyme disease is in the bed.
He's pulling a Goldilocks.
I want a human revolution. I want a human revolution.
Today we're learning about bed bugs. This situation is not as rare as you may think. 1 in 5 Americans has either had bed bugs themselves or know someone
That's
who
a
has.
lot.
It's a lot of people. I have had bed bugs, as you all know quite well.
I don't think I could ever sleep in a bed again if I had them.
It's tough. Yeah, it's scarring.
Yeah.
And I know like PTSD from war and abuse is rough, but
Bed bugs
it's
is
also
worse.
pretty bad. It's worse. Nothing compares to PTSD from bed bugs. You'll never stop itching. They have been around for a super, super long time. Fossils found in Egypt show bed bugs have been around for at least 3,500 years. They've also been found in ancient Egyptian tombs. So they were probably around much, much longer before then.
Where did they live before beds?
Anywhere. They like anywhere that is warm enough for them. They like cold places. They'll get into crevices because I don't know if you can recall what a bed bug looks like. They're flat. So they can fit through like stitching in clothes and get into seams. They really love mattresses, but anywhere dark that they can just sneak into any crevice, really. So they travel really easily in sheets, on clothes, in wooden furniture. That's how I got my bed bugs, from a ill-fated Craigslist purchase. And we'll talk about where they came from geographically as well. They were nearly eradicated in developed countries after World War II. But after traveling became easier than ever and the ability to ship products across the globe and select pesticides being banned, they can now be found in every region of the world.
Oh, we were so close.
I know, we really were. But it was also like the cost of these pesticides, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the lesson, was not worth.
I mean, we could have
bedbug
banned the
eradication.
pesticides after we eradicated the bed bugs.
Yeah, we were close. That's true.
You
What's
like
a
it-
few more
why
human
restart?
lives? Bedbugs are thought to have originally found their favorite human snacks in ancient Mediterranean caves. That's where they descended from what's called a bat bug, which is similar to bedbugs, but they mostly feed on bats.
Okay.
And their bite is arguably much worse than that of bedbugs. So somehow evolution said, let's tame it down and let
just
humans.
at least a little bit.
Yeah, and the bedbugs do make it easy on their host, and we'll get to that as well. In addition to their beds, these bugs showed up all over ancient historical texts and medical books. Pliny the Younger lived in ancient Rome, and he took upon himself to write the first edition ever of Natural History in 77 AD, and he referred to bedbugs as Cymex lectularius. Cymex meaning bug, lectularius meaning couch or bed.
Okay.
Bedbugs were recommended to treat medical ailments such as ear infections and snake bites.
They did not put them in people's ear.
I don't know exactly how they did it.
How else would they treat an ear infection with them?
They would just grind them
okay,
up.
and you like put the paste in your ear.
Yeah.
That's acceptable.
But don't let them in your ear. That's like untold stories of the ER. There was this story where they could hear the bug inside and it was like batting its wings and trying to get out. Terrifying. Horrible. And that's why I don't put anything in my ear. After that one time, I lost the reusable Q-tip in it. Bed bugs were also recommended for other medical ailments. Up until the 18th century, it was also used to treat hysteria, which seems counterproductive.
Yeah, it seems like they would cause hysteria.
It would make it so much worse for me.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I mean, maybe it gives you something else to focus on.
That's true.
Just like
that is true.
Rechannel your anxiety into something that's like you should be anxious about.
You have a human revolution against the bugs in your bed.
Yeah.
Bed bugs are natural born globetrotters, and by 600 AD, they were tearing shit up in China and Italy. And by the 1400s, France and Germany had gotten quite familiar with these little buddies as well. Despite popular misconceptions, bed bugs were not just afflicting the lower classes, and infestation rarely, if ever, is caused by a lack of hygiene. It's more just kind of the luck of the draw.
Yeah, except like you should get rid of them. If you, like once you have them,
you should definitely do that. And poor hygiene certainly won't help.
No,
an infestation. But yeah, you should get rid of them, and they're very difficult to get rid of.
It's my biggest fear.
It's horrendous. I remember crying trying to get rid of these things.
Did you have to hire a exterminator?
I don't know how you would get rid of them without a professional.
And were they able to do it in one
Yeah,
go?
They had to come back once or twice after that too.
Oh my God.
Because you can kill the living bugs, but the eggs are going to hatch and then you'll have more. So it's a multi-step process.
Was it expensive?
I don't know. My mom paid for
That's
it.
Nice.
I would imagine yes.
Yeah. Because don't they have to tent your house?
They didn't have to tent the house, actually. They just did it in like the rooms, but no, it wasn't the whole house, thankfully. It hadn't like spread everywhere.
Yeah.
But I was sleeping on the couch for a while.
Oh.
It was rough, you guys.
There's like a lot of mattresses out on the street right now. I think people's leases are ending, so they're cleaning out their houses and apartments. And every time Georgia gets near one, we have like a heart attack. Yeah.
You never know what happened on that mattress, what's in that mattress.
I'm sure. I mean, it sounds like 1 in 5 could have bed bugs.
It could be you.
God, do you remember that flea infestation at the old house?
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah.
That was the worst.
You guys did such a good job of fumigating it, though.
We had to fumigate it like every
Twice.
week because they were coming in from the basement.
Yeah, it was a never-ending supply.
It was terrible.
I feel like we bring it up all the time, but if you're a new listener, we basically lived in an old house, Hayley, Kat, myself, and others, and the fleas were coming up from the dirt underground through the floorboards into the house.
Yeah, we spent probably like $500 at Walgreens buying flea bombs periodically because it was a never-ending issue.
It sounds so crazy hearing you say it again. We're just like, the fleas are back.
Yeah, I can't believe we just dealt with that for 2 years.
It was a really beautiful house.
It was. I miss it sometimes.
I would buy it. I'll drive by it and be like,
yeah.
miss you.
They just needed to put like to fill that whole basement with cement. We don't need it.
I want to go back and listen to the early night classes just to hear all the shit that was going wrong with that house.
Crazy. Remember when water used to like pour from the ceiling like a waterfall?
It was pouring
Yeah.
down. It was pouring up.
Yeah.
I was always worried too. Every time I got into my shower, I was like, this could fall through any second now because of all that water damage. Surely,
And
It
they
was
never
not
fixed
kosher.
it. It would just like stop eventually.
yeah. Throw some towels down. Deal with it.
God, mice, possums, raccoons, fleas, sewage.
We had a zoo.
You name
A
it.
bad zoo. It was not
It was
good.
the
not a cute
worst of
zoo.
zoos.
So we could have added bed bugs to the zoo, but thankfully we did not.
I'm shocked actually that we made it
know.
out of that house without bed bugs.
Just fleas. And bed bugs can get comfortable just about anywhere as long as there's blood to be sucked. But adult bed bugs can survive a year without feeding. So they're survivors. And as supplies were sent to rebuild the city after the Great Fire of London, if you guys remember that little story, bed bugs arrived in England.
They weren't there yet?
No, they weren't there yet. And they're like shipping all these supplies to London. And that's how it got introduced to England. From there, they went across the pond and landed in America. And the colonies were absolutely rocked by bed bugs. I mean, amongst all of the other things going on.
I feel like they wouldn't even notice. Like, wasn't everyone infested with fleas? Until like
Probably.
maybe 100 years ago. So
I don't know.
Why not
if
add bed
that's
bugs?
accurate.
Cats like, weren't the Middle Ages 100 years ago?
Didn't people just start taking showers in the 70s?
I mean, listen, they didn't have revolution yet, so there was
We
no way
still
to
don't
avoid
have
it.
revolution.
That's true. I did read somewhere that the reason we don't have revolution for humans is because it is really bad for you and causes cancer, but like cats and dogs, their lifespan isn't long enough for them to see those side
The
effects.
results. Wow.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you get it on your hands, that's not good. You should like wash it off
What about
immediately.
in your mouth? Your eyes.
Gotta
I
stop
don't know what
eating
to
that
tell
stuff.
you.
I was giving Girly her steroids one time, and some of it like shot. She like moved her head really fast, and some of it shot into my mouth.
Oh, her steroids. I thought.
Yeah, no, not the revolutions, but it tasted good.
Yeah.
It was like fruity.
Yeah, it's banana flavored usually,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know if ours was
Yummy.
banana. I hate admitting that I would have liked banana because I'm so against banana.
Maybe it's just dewormer that's banana flavored.
You're against banana?
they freak me out. I don't like the texture, don't like the taste.
I agree
against
with you.
banana.
I don't mind artificial banana, but real bananas, absolutely not.
Some patrons at Trivia, it was one of their birthdays and they had a bunch of mini cupcakes. They're like, here, take one. I took one. They're like, you should take another one. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Which one is this? And they're like, oh, but like banana, nut bread or whatever. It was like, I will take another one.
You don't like banana bread?
No, I don't.
It doesn't
like
even barely taste like banana.
I don't know. There's just something in me. Maybe in a past life.
Yeah, you have
Something
banana
happened.
trauma.
I choked on a banana.
You're grapefruiting a banana.
It all went downhill. It's too clear.
It broke off in your throat.
I couldn't get enough of a gulp to just swallow it. That's like when we were kids. My brother was eating a popsicle and it like broke off and lodged in his throat, and I was panicking and he was choking. And then enough of it melted, and he went, it melted.
Oh my
He
God.
swallowed it. It was terrifying. And
Was it in his
hysterical.
windpipe or like locked in his
It
esophagus?
was like locked in, I guess, his esophagus
Oh my
right here, so
God.
it was blocking everything.
Do you ever eat too fast and you just have to freeze while it's like stuck there?
Yeah.
And
Like,
it,
don't panic.
Yeah, and it feels like it's tight, like especially peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah.
It gets clogged
Yeah.
real quick.
And you think like, I might die.
And it really hurts.
This might be
Do
it.
I want to die like this? Guiltily eating the banana that I told everyone I hate. There's this device you can buy on Amazon that like creates a suction and you can help people stop choking and it like sucks it out. I've seen it. I think it was on Shark Tank. And I was like, oh, I should buy that because one of my worst fears is somebody choking in front of me and not being able to help them or save them. I mean, not enough for me to like take a class, I guess. But also, I went to Amazon. It was like $70. I was like, that's too much.
Yeah, and how big is it? Are you supposed to just carry it in your purse?
I think you can just like keep it in your pantry maybe. If you had a big purse, maybe you could take it with you.
Seems like overkill. But I'm sure if you have it, you're glad you have
like
it.
Anti-kill.
When you're alone eating, do you think like, what is my game plan if I start choking?
No.
I think about it all the time.
Alec, you
might
should
need
really
anxiety
try
medicine.
some meds.
But I'm not anxious about it. It's more like the Boy Scout of like, be prepared, like have a plan.
Sounds like an intrusive thought.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
Because I think like, okay, I can write I'm choking and go like lay down in the middle of the road.
You're supposed to like throw yourself on the back of a chair to like give yourself the Heimlich maneuver.
Yeah, I would want to get out in public though. So I think I would write I'm choking and then like bring a chair outside and start throwing myself on it.
Why wouldn't you go knock on the neighbor's door?
That would probably be part of the order of operations.
I like to imagine you very dramatically just like sitting on the curb holding an I'm
Just
choking
waiting
sign,
for somebody
waiting to die.
That would suck.
That would suck. Don't
But
do
I think
that,
I
you guys.
sing a lot at home alone and I eat a lot of PB&Js. So it's when I'm
Deadly
singing and eating. Yeah.
That's how Elvis died, you know?
You sing while you're eating a PB&J?
Well, that's why I think about what if I choked right now and then I stop singing. It's less anxiety and more like just the real truth of my situation.
That's what I used to think too before Lexapro. Then I realized, okay, it maybe isn't normal to think about how I would get out of a situation in my car or what I would do if the cats were choking on the blind cord.
Or if the bar turned on you about your birthday being your trivia name.
Oh my God. Okay, back to the bed bugs, our favorite topic. So they land in the colonies, and the people there, the colonizers, used, let's call it what it is, peat fires were used in an attempt to exterminate. And it wasn't rare for not only the bugs to die, but for people to die as well.
Were they like smoking the house out, or were they burning it down?
I think they were smoking it out.
Okay.
And I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but people died of smoke inhalation.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Cyanide fumigation was also used. Although it did kill the bed bugs, it was also, very good at killing the humans too. Bedbug numbers reached an all-time high in the 1930s as electric heat became a popular facet in every household. Surveys found, you guys are not ready for this, surveys found 1 in 3 American residences had a bedbug infestation.
I'm just thinking about how you guys guffawed at me when I said up until 100 years ago, everyone was infested with fleas. And now you're telling me 100 years ago, everyone was infested with bed bugs. So are fleas really so much of a leap?
Well, they're different. They're called different things.
Barely.
Hey, fleas are for dogs. Bed bugs are for beds.
Fleas can be for humans.
Where's that lesson? That'll be fun.
I'll do a lesson on fleas next week.
That sounds great.
I would like to know more about fleas.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Well, how about bed bugs? Will that do? Would you like to hear more about bed bugs?
I would. This feels like
I am
mosquitoes part 2. I feel like you like the blood-sucking bugs, so maybe you should do fleas.
I'm a Twilight girl. Of course
I am reading Midnight Sun right now, and
fun.
it is so good. It makes me feel like I'm 12 again.
I need to read it again. I don't think I remember any of it at all. That's the one from Edward's point of view, right?
And it's making me realize, because I haven't read any of the Twilight books since I was like in middle school.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing how fucking like weird and annoying Bella and Edward are. Like they're both very weird, boring, also annoying people. And it works. But they're freaking weird. And Edward is a terrible narrator. Oh my gosh, she was correct to switch to Bella's point of view.
Oh, I don't doubt that for 1 minute.
He's so obnoxious.
Also,
it's insufferable.
How did she even fall in love with him at the first place? Like, it was just infatuation, right?
It was love at first sight. It's a cosmic kind of love. They were destined to be together.
I mean,
they knew
clearly,
it when they saw each other.
When he smelt her.
Yeah.
He dealt her.
And it is crazy how fast the books move because Edward is like getting to know Bella by reading everyone around her's thoughts. But Bella doesn't know shit about Edward until he just like shows up and then they're like in love that night.
Well, yeah, he's hot.
Yeah, he's hot. But I don't know. It's just it's been very entertaining. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna go back and read the rest of the books again too. When I'm done.
My god, book club.
Yeah, Twilight Book Club.
Let's do it, please.
Can we put this to the audience too? Kat and I were discussing how there's 2 more books coming out.
Well, Stephanie Meyer has been saying she's writing more books for like 10 years and it's never happened. So I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, so theoretically 2 more books are coming out. We were trying to name them in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And so you kind of have a new moon, a breaking dawn.
Like they're all themes around time of day.
Mm-hmm.
With celestial objects. So we were thinking, what did we come up with? Waning solstice?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you have like a waning moon, like a crescent moon.
Dusk blood.
Dusk blood is good.
That's good.
Yeah,
Thank
you came up with that right away. It took us a while.
It took us a long time on a dog walk.
Moon book. Sun ball. Fire.
Bat bug. Wasn't that what the bed bug was called? Bat bug.
Vampire. But Kat, yeah, please teach us about fleas. I
Okay.
love that. Since you have so much experience with them, I know nothing about that. So, yeah, there were a lot of bedbug infestations, and that's just something that happened, you know? What are you going to do? Until
Can't
they
change the
discovered
past.
the pesticide DDT during World War II. DDT is a man-made pesticide that was super effective at exterminating, almost eradicating bedbugs in North America, and it works by fucking up the bug's nervous system, and it could kill them months after the DDT had been sprayed, but eventually the bugs grew immune to it completely. And after its negative health effects were recognized for humans and animals, it was banned in the 1990s, and the bedbugs returned with a vengeance. Since DDT was banned, exterminators tried using pyrethroid pesticides, which attack the bug's nervous system in a similar way, but they just weren't banned. Unfortunately, though, since the bugs already had this built-in resistance to DDT that was passed down for generations, the other pesticides also did not work. So that's just it. A study in 2000.
That's it? They didn't figure out a better way?
Not really, as far as pesticides go.
Oh, but they can kill them.
Yeah, they can
Okay.
kill them. I didn't get into like all the fumigating and
Yeah.
all of that. I don't know exactly how they do it now. Some home remedies talk about using like essential oils, but don't do that. That will not
there's no
be
way that
effective.
works.
It doesn't. I mean, every time, hire a professional. I don't
Yeah.
care if you have to put it on the credit card. Do what you got to do because you are not getting rid of those bed bugs.
Rob a
alone.
bank.
Rob a bank. Scam
Do
somebody.
something.
It's the 21st century.
Yeah.
The oyster is yours.
And check your hotel beds, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Check your hotel beds, ensure, and even like new furniture. You never
Really?
know in
Oh,
warehouses and stuff.
That's
I would just be
terrifying.
sure, just inspect everything. I really like the idea of taking my own sheets to hotels. I think I will probably start doing that.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
That's too much.
I've never heard of this.
I'd rather get bed bugs.
Really? Yeah. I don't know. Just something about like knowing that they're clean.
You know the sheets are clean though. You got to pull off that like top comforter thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Think so?
Why are we
Okay.
still doing the top comforter thing? Everybody knows it's gross.
I don't know.
Because they don't wash that thing, right?
No.
Why are we putting that on there?
I don't know.
Why aren't they
disgusting.
washing them?
Let's get to the bottom of
That's
this.
true.
It's easy enough just to wash that shit.
Maybe they do. What if that's just a rumor that they don't?
I doubt it.
But then I'm always freezing when I sleep in a hotel because you have to sleep with like just the sheets.
yeah, I've never taken the comforter off, so this is
this is news to you.
I've just been like,
I do the same thing Kat does where it's like you throw it off when you get in and then like you get cold and you're like, well, I guess my feet touching it won't be that bad.
BYOC, okay?
Yeah.
Bring your own comforter. Also, some house shoes because we're not walking around the hotel room barefoot.
No.
But hang on, if you're
that's
bringing
true.
your home comforter there, that's
Yeah.
increasing your likelihood of bringing
bringing
bed
it
buds
back.
back.
Well,
Yeah, that's
it's not
true.
always about bed bugs.
This is how we're going to get back to 1 and 3. Just bring your own comforter.
Go to TJ Maxx, buy a $20 comforter, and burn it afterwards. I think that's fine.
Sounds wasteful, but I won't judge you.
Hotels have incinerators and like huge smokestacks.
Whatever way you decide to go, you can know that a study in 2010 found that 90% of bed bugs across the U.S. have a mutation that makes them untouchable as far as these pesticides
90%?
go. 90%. So
God.
they will really fuck up your day. So now we know that bed bugs are hardy and skilled travelers, but how have they survived so long? Well, they're extremely adaptable and they can survive in nearly freezing temperatures all the way up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. So a best course of, what is it called? What you want to do if you have bed bugs, definitely wash everything in high heat, like as high as you can go, probably for even an extended period of time in the washer and dryer. And they're also super smart. They intentionally stay, well, maybe not super smart, but they're kind of smart. They stay geniuses. They just don't know how to communicate with us.
They're better than dolphins.
The next smartest animal after a human is a bed bug.
It's just how it goes. Evolution is a mystery. They stay out of sight during the day and hide away in any dark spot, mattress crevices, box springs, baseboards, behind electrical switch plates and picture frames, and even behind wallpaper. Because they can just squiggle on in there. But by nightfall, they're ready for a meal, which they can find easily. They feed every 5 to 7 days, and they just follow the scent of the carbon dioxide that we put out just by breathing. Once they've reached their preferred host, bed bugs will ensure their meal stays fast asleep as they bite and suck in a row by administering an anesthetic in their saliva. This also keeps humans literally and figuratively in the dark while also increasing blood flow and thinning the blood in the area to create an overall painless experience.
It's kind of them.
It is. They really thought about it. It's like, I could have gone to school for chemistry, but I went for hospitality.
Yeah.
That's why they're in hotels.
Oh my God.
They just wanna
It's their
work.
passion.
It's their passion. Let them live. But you'll for sure know if you got bed bugs by the next day or in the next couple days. The numbing saliva wears off and you'll be left with an itching, flat, and bumpy red lesions. They'll typically be in a row because they like to eat what they call breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So they'll bite
Aw,
and
just
suck,
like
move a little bit.
us.
They're just like us. I need a picture of that, a bed bug out shopping with its sunglasses on. Bed bugs. They're just like us. So it creates a distinct pattern, and bed bugs can consume 7 times their body weight, which would be like a grown man drinking 120 gallons of water for one meal. Human reactions to these bites vary. Some people even experience anaphylaxis shock.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And if you get bit enough, it could result in systemic poisoning. In addition to itching, infestations can also bring on anxiety, stress, and sleep issues. So, to close out my lesson, I will leave you with the advice I've been saying all along. Always invest in professional care to take care of an infestation. Bed bugs are the gift they will keep on giving and giving. They live for a year. Females lay 200 to 500 eggs in their lifetime. Oh. Check your linens. Be cautious of Facebook Marketplace furniture and hire the professional. I'm telling you guys. That's my lesson.
If you can, end this epidemic,
they're just like us.
How did you find out you had them?
I'm trying to remember. I woke up. I went to sleep one night. Everything was fine. I woke up the next day and I counted. I had at least 50 bites all over my body.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I had painted the headboard that I got green. So it was the first night that it had been inside. And before that, it was black. So it's not like you could see anything, but against the green, they had come out and you could see them in the little...
Oh my God.
So you had like spray painted over them and then they moved and you could see them?
Yeah, so they had come out from inside the wood to feed that night.
Oh.
Yeah,
my
and then you can
God.
like see them. So we fumigated, washed everything, got a mattress protector.
Did you have roommates at the time?
This was actually the summer before I went to college,
okay.
so I hadn't moved out yet. I got to,
So it was your
my mom
parents
dealt
who were
with
pissed
it.
with you.
Yeah, thank God. I don't think I ever did any like shitty roommate behavior, accidental or on purpose. I've
Yeah.
probably thrown up in some places I shouldn't have, but that's about it. One of my roommates, I had a coin jar puked in before. My rug had been peed on.
Wow.
They puked in a coin jar?
It's the worst place to puke.
Yeah, of all places.
Of all places.
I'm throwing the change out, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Ain't
Well,
worth it.
they cleaned it.
Wow. That's nice of them. I would have thrown it away and been like, here's $50.
Take it to Coinstar,
Yeah.
just dump the whole thing in there.
Sorry.
Your problem now, Coinstar.
I wasn't even there. I was out of town at a work event, and my roommates and all of our friends were having beer Olympics, and they got locked out of our house, but from my room in the back, they had wired the speaker outside. So they were able to raise my window, and my friend like had to use the bathroom. And then because the window had freaking bars on it, but she was such a skinny mini, she was like able to get through it.
It's like a bed bug.
Snake. Yeah, like a bed bug.
Like a freaking
She
snake.
is a bed bug.
She's just like us.
She's really smart.
She went right for the bed. And then she threw up in my coin jar. And I just get a picture of her like sick with all of the coins spread out on a towel drying.
Oh my God. Oh man. Locked out of beer Olympics.
Yeah. And I guess they tried to call the cops to see if they could help them get back in. And they're like, you're underage drinking.
Why are you all in
What would the
togas?
cops do? I don't know. I'm so glad I wasn't there. I would have definitely had an anxiety attack.
Why are you all wearing gold medals that say most fucked up?
Most drunkest. Oh gosh. All right. Well, let's take a quick break and then we can hear about your science lesson.
Bye.
Little science girl. All right, so I already know what I'm doing for my Patreon lesson, and I'm super excited. There will be twists and there will be turns.
I don't know what I'm doing for my Patreon lesson, so there will be a twist and turn to
For you.
myself as I figure that out. But either way, I'm looking forward to recording and hearing your lesson and Alex.
Yeah, I don't know which one mine is going to be, but I have a big list right now.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So you guys know there's always extra content to be had. We love our patrons. We love our listeners in general. But if you're looking to up the ante a little bit and help out the show, head on over to nightclassy.com. No, patreon.com/nightclassy.
That's the one.
You can join at any tier to join us on Fridays for the cocktail hours. We have extra content every week. You can also join for the extra bonus lessons that we have each month. The choice is yours, darling.
There's a lot of options. So again, that is patreon.com/nightclassy.
Bye.
Hello.
Hey.
Are you ready for my lesson?
I am.
Okay, so last week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis caused quite a stir, at least in my news feed. I was lit up by a bunch of articles about this. I don't know. Do you remember seeing anything?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so last week, Ron DeSantis decided to very publicly ban a type of food that does not even exist yet on the market. He stood in front of an image of a red barn and was surrounded by members of the Florida Cattlemen's Association when he signed a bill banning the production and sale of lab-grown meat in the state of Florida. About his decision, he said, quote, "Florida is fighting back against the global elite's plan to force the world to eat meat grown in a petri dish or bugs to achieve their authoritarian goals. We will save our beef."
Bugs can be very good to eat.
Yeah, they're very nutritious. They're cheap.
Yeah.
I hear they're tasty. I've never had one.
Bed bugs
Crunchy.
will cure your hysteria and
So
your
true.
hunger.
They're just like us. The quote-unquote petri dish meat in question is called cultivated meat, and it is meat that is grown in a lab for the purpose of human consumption. And while this type of product cannot yet be found at the grocery store, it's been in the works for a really long time.
So is it meat?
Yeah, it's meat grown in a lab.
How does it grow?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
In a 1931 essay, British statesman Winston Churchill wrote, quote, "We shall escape the absurdity of growing a whole chicken to eat the breast or wing by growing these parts separately under a suitable medium."
Just give me the breast.
Yeah, why do we need the whole chicken?
Breast is best.
We don't need the guts. We don't need the feathers. We don't need the beak. And while this was just kind of speculating about the future, actual experiments in cultivated meat began in 2002 when NASA attempted the project as a way to grow food for astronauts in outer space. An experiment by bioengineer Morris Benjaminson took strips of goldfish muscle and immersed them in fetal bovine fluid in an attempt to grow more tissue. The experiment worked, and after a week spent in the vat, the fish chunks grew 14%.
Ew. That's amazing and disgusting.
I know. I don't know why they chose goldfish. You would think they would
There'd have
choose
to be a
something
good
people
reason.
eat. I think
they-
just because they
regenerate easily.
maybe it's just that they're like cheap lab animals.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but this was a success, and in celebration, the team fried the fish in olive oil and seasoned it with lemon, garlic, and pepper, then just took it around and showed it off to the whole department. I don't think anyone actually
Somebody
ate
eat it.
I don't think anyone ate it because people raised concerns about possible prion contamination in the fetal bovine fluid. Because I guess they didn't test for that. And also just in general, the slow rate of production and people were kind of skeeved out by it, all raised questions on whether or not this was going to like actually be a helpful thing.
Yeah, that slow production is like me slowly driving your Skyline to Memphis so that you could eat it.
It'll poison you. So while nothing came of this experiment in terms of feeding astronauts, it was an important first step toward making cultivated meat a reality.
If I was an astronaut, we got to space and they try to hand me like lab grown meat, I'd be like, I thought astronauts just ate ice cream. Give me my
where's the
Dippin'
freeze-dried
Dots.
ice cream? I want the freeze-dried Neapolitan ice cream bar, please and thank you.
I came up here to crunch, dude.
The next attempt occurred in the Netherlands in 2013. Scientists grew strips of muscle from a collection of cow cells, then ground and pressed them into a burger. The project was funded by an unnamed mystery backer who donated. Do you want to guess how much this burger cost?
$2 billion.
Not quite. $330,000.
Wow.
For this single burger patty.
Rich people are so weird.
I love
it.
The patty was served at a food conference to food critics. So there are a bunch of quotes about the taste of this burger. And from what I read, they can all pretty much be summed up in that the burger tasted just like meat. However, it was only muscle. There was no fat in it. So it was not very tasty.
Interesting. Although they could have said that it was the best lab-grown meat burger they'd ever had.
It was, and it was also the worst.
Wow.
It's an
I didn't
enigma.
think about that.
Throughout the 2010s, a number of cultivated meat companies formed and began attempting to make a suitable product. Most focused on chicken, beef, and pork production, but others are attempting more niche meats like lamb, duck, and seafood.
What a lesson on the day I announced that I'm going mostly vegetarian.
It's like our brains are connected.
Yeah.
It's
How
very
did that
weird.
happen?
What day exactly did you decide to be vegetarian?
Like a week ago.
Okay. I decided to do this lesson like 2 days ago. So I was like, it would be crazy if it was on the same day.
That would be crazy.
A few of the major players in the cultivated meat market are Upside Foods, Believer Meats, Just Fork and Good, Blue Nalu, and Finless Foods.
Just fork.
Just
fork it.
I think it's called Just Foods. I just
Nothing
only
but
put
meat.
half of it in here. I don't know. Nothing but meat. There you go. That's ours. In 2020, Singapore became the first country in the world to allow the sale of cultivated meat by allowing the company Eat Just to sell their lab-grown chicken bites at a restaurant for $17 per serving. And this sounds like semi-affordable for restaurant food, but they're selling it at a loss just to kind of get people interested in it.
That's fair.
Yeah. This decision allowed Singapore to become a major player in the cultivated meat industry, and the U.S. is also home to a significant portion of cultivated meat startups. The USDA officially granted them permission to enter the market and sell cultivated meat in the U.S. in June of 2023.
So recent. Oh,
Pretty
my God.
recently, about a year ago. But now we have states like Florida, and we think that Tennessee, Kentucky, and like maybe a couple others are also going to try to ban cultivated meat.
Are they banning it so that it doesn't like take sales from farmed meat?
That's what they're saying. But there's also a lot of like fear mongering and far right dog whistles involved in this kind of a thing. In the moment, though, it's kind of a non-issue because cultivated meat is still in the development stage. It's not available to anybody. The process to make it is really long, complex, and costly. And until these companies find a way to get costs down while getting production volume up, we're not going to see cultivated meat in the grocery store. The first step in meat cultivation is acquiring stem cells or fibroblast cells. Fibroblast cells are preferred because they're a little bit more stable and can replicate quicker than stem cells, but both will work. These either come from a donor animal or from fetal tissue.
Man, if I got my hand on some stem cells,
What would you make?
A tail?
Why?
Horns?
Horns are understandable. Your obsession with tails. Alec has the
I
same
have the
hang
same.
up.
I would love a tail.
He always says he wants a tail, and imagining a human with like a fleshy tail is just vile to me.
It'd be cool.
That is
Just
disgusting.
Avatar style. Come
Yeah.
on.
Ew, that is
Yeah.
so gross.
Or I could like make my elbows extra pointy.
What? No.
I would
Could,
want
like,
vampire
knock people
teeth.
with them. No.
Anyway,
That's not how stem cells work.
vampire teeth and a unicorn horn.
Good luck with that sleep mask you put on your device.
I can make a hole for my horn.
So it can pierce the
Yeah.
sky.
These cells can be formed into a number of different types of cells. Mainly just muscle and fat is what's needed for meat production. After these cells are acquired, they undergo what's called proliferation. They're exposed to nutrient-rich enzyme baths inside bioreactors. The nutrient-rich mixture is called cell media, and it mimics the nutrient profile that would be inside a living animal that allows cells to grow. And sometimes this is created in a lab, and sometimes they just use fetal bovine fluid, like from a cow. The enzyme bath stimulates growth, and once the cellular mass is large enough, the cells are moved into train bioreactors for the differentiation phase. And what this means is that different nutrients are now given to the cells to cause them to be different types of things. Like this is where they're either turned into muscle or fat.
Interesting. And I am kind of talking out of my ass here because I don't really understand what you're saying.
That's
and,
okay.
Like,
I don't
generally,
either. But it took me so long to do these notes because I was trying so hard to understand the process. And I found a Reddit thread that was like in like a subreddit called Explain It to Me Like I'm 5. And it was
perfect.
What is like, how do they make lab grown meat? And I read that and I was still like, I'm just going to like type this. I don't know.
We need to get a bed bug to explain it to us. I'm sure they could break it
They're
down.
much smarter than us.
But it has me thinking if any cancer research could be beneficial to this. Like,
definitely,
it would make sense.
At least
right?
for like organ
the
donation. They, in the very near future, and I think even now, they're dabbling in being able to grow organs.
Yeah. And I mean, the other way around, cancer research, like the way that we know cancer cells grow so fast, is there something they could use there to apply it to this lab grown meat to
Like
help
eat
it
the
grow
tumors.
faster?
Yeah.
Maybe to help what grow faster?
The meat.
Oh,
Like the tumor is meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Possibly.
A muscle tumor, aka
I don't know how easily marketable tumor meat would be, but
Well,
we could try
you know,
it.
that's the thing about marketing. Is you don't market it like that.
I guess whatever they're doing is what cancer does, arguably,
yeah, it's
just rapidly
the
producing
process
proteins
is sped up for sure.
from damaged DNA.
So this process will make you like a giant cluster of cells, but that's not very desirable because that doesn't look like what we expect meat to look
Ooh,
like.
I'm picturing that fish that looks like just a blob when it's brought
Yeah, a
above
blob
water.
fish.
Yeah. Precisely.
It probably does look really nasty. So what they do to mitigate that is they put it in a type of mold called a 3D scaffold. And this will shape it into like a chicken wing or a steak.
This is so dystopian.
I love it. Also, to get the right,
Why?
because it would be great to get rid of the
Okay,
meat
yeah,
industry.
yeah.
It's
You're
so
right.
cruel and bad for the
You're right.
environment.
I keep picturing this as an episode of Chopped where he's like, in your basket is a goldfish, fetal bovine fluid.
Pretty much.
Would you
3D
eat
scaffold.
meat if it did not come from animals, if it was lab grown?
I mean, ethically, I would have no problem with it, but meat disgusts me. Like, it grosses me the hell out. It took me forever just to be okay eating like an Impossible Burger.
Yeah.
So I could maybe get there eventually, but it wouldn't be overnight. It would still gross me out a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Alec?
Me having eaten meat for much longer than you have
Yeah.
since you're zero,
Yeah.
I could easily jump on the,
Okay. The lab grown meat train.
yeah.
Would you eat it?
I don't know.
You don't know? Why not?
Well, I've been going vegetarian for
a week
3
now.
days. Now, not even.
You're part of the
like-
liberal elite that eats bugs.
Yeah.
I like really decided. And now I just have to finish out like the HelloFresh recipes.
Yeah. But you decided because you didn't want like animals to suffer. Like the
Yes,
pig noises is
yeah,
what got you. So if
yeah.
animals aren't suffering,
Then I don't know. Like, do I really need meat? Do I
Yeah.
miss it? Do
Yeah.
I want to eat it, or
That's
is it
true.
just now out of like convenience and it's just what I've been doing my whole life?
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm like really curious to try meat because I never really have. I've been vegetarian since I was a baby. So I'd be curious to just try it, but I never miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, also for the occasion of me eating will be sushi. I will still
Yeah,
eat sushi.
that's fair. But what if you could get lab-grown fish?
I would do that.
All right, cool.
I mean, if I'm going to eat it for real, then I'll also eat lab-grown fish.
So part of what makes meat so good is that the muscles in the animal have been used. Like they're strong, right? There's like a lot of protein, like tissue density in there. So to get lab meat to be the right texture, they have to stimulate it mechanically, like move it around and flex the muscles.
Okay, I wish somebody could do that for me.
Right. Just while I sleep.
Plug me in.
Once the meat is done growing and differentiating, which takes about 2 to 8 weeks, is harvested and put through a centrifuge and filtration process to separate the meat from the cell media, clean it off, and get it ready for consumption. Sometimes plant-based proteins are also added to just give it a better texture. And the end result of cultivated meat is meat. It's indistinguishable from regular meat.
That's so wild.
Yeah. And we kind of touched on this already, but there's this question of, can vegans and vegetarians eat this and still consider themselves vegan and vegetarian? And is this lab-grown meat cruelty-free? The answer is murky. So cultivated meat does rely on the collection of cells from a living animal. This is usually done through a biopsy. So animals do not have to be slaughtered for this collection of cells. And once they are collected, the cells can be replicated forever. However, there is talk about farming animals for the purpose of collecting cells for lab-grown meat, to selectively breed into better donor animals, which does put into question the cruelty-free aspect. Like, how well are these animals being treated? Is this still a factory farm situation? It's up in the air because it's not happening yet. But in the future, that will be called into question. Some people don't consider the meat vegan because the animal does have to be involved in the process, whether you're harming them or not.
That makes sense.
It's they still can't technically consent to having their cells harvested.
Yeah.
The bigger issue, though, for vegans and vegetarians is this nutrient-rich enzyme bath that the cells have to be grown in, because sometimes this does contain animal byproducts, fluid from, why can't I speak?
The
amniotic
fluid.
Fetal bovine fluid.
Wait, why?
Because it's really easy to grow cells in amniotic fluid, because that's the whole purpose of it.
So how do they get amniotic fluid?
They
from
take it
pregnant
from
animals?
a pregnant animal. Yeah. But we're moving away from that. That's how the cultivated meat started, but it's not very sustainable to do it that way. So they're moving away from it. A lot of companies now don't use it at all. But in these 3D scaffolds, sometimes the scaffolds are made of animal collagen. So it really just depends on the company that's making the meat. Some have the goal of going completely vegan with their process, other than the initial cell collection, while others don't have as much of a problem using animal byproducts in the production process. And even to those who don't consider it fully vegan, it obviously still would greatly reduce animal suffering. And therefore, even if you choose not to eat it, it's still a net positive.
It's a win. Yeah.
It's definitely a win. It's also really good for the environment, because animal farming is horrible for the environment. We are cutting down the rainforest for beef cows. It would be great to do away with that. Let's see. And
I was thinking, imagine if you had to introduce meat now, where it's all you have to do is get 5,000 acres, and feed them 1,000 pounds of grass.
Exactly, and not just grass. You have to feed them grain and shit, and you're putting in all these calories and energies into an animal that's going to yield you less or fewer calories in return. It's just not a good system. And if we can find a more energy efficient system, then we should. Compared to conventionally farmed beef, cultivated beef could result in 93% less pollution, 95% less land use, and 78% less water usage.
Wow.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. And fewer resources needed mean that the meat could potentially be produced on a much greater scale and reduce food shortages and global hunger. It could allow these calorically dense foods to be accessed by parts of the world that can't access as much meat. It would just be really helpful.
And we're already having states and politicians
Trying to ban it for
saying
no fucking reason.
Money is the reason.
Money
Capitalism
and-
is the reason.
Yeah, and just like pandering to fear-mongering crazy bullshit. Cultivated meat also has the potential to be healthier than conventional meat because factory farming facilities are dirty and disgusting and the animals get infections like crazy. They're typically all fed antibiotics just in their feed, whether they need it or not. And this leads to antibiotic-resistant bacteria, kind of like the bed bugs who are resistant to
They're the
pesticides.
boss now.
Yeah. Because cultivated meat is grown in a sterile environment, that eliminates the need for antibiotics in the production process, which is great.
Yeah, it would be great if antibiotics could continue working.
Yeah, I would like them to
being
work,
effective
please.
forever.
Mhm. Also, because cultivated meat doesn't have intestines, there's no risk of fecal contamination. Because if you think of the meat production process, there's a lot of poop in that process and it gets in the food and causes things like salmonella and E. coli. It makes you sick. And we can do away with that.
It doesn't have to be a risk you're willing to take.
Yeah. By creating meat in a lab, scientists can control the levels of undesirable things in the meat, like saturated fat, and make it healthier while keeping the taste pretty much the same.
Yeah, up the salt content.
Oh, yeah, do that. Overall, the benefits of cultivated meat far, far outweigh the very few valid arguments against it. Most of the arguments, like we've said, are rooted in emotion rather than evidence. And overall, acceptance is growing, but by a very small margin. Studies from 2017 to 2019 found that 1 in 5 people were not willing to try cultivated meat, but 60% were.
That's not bad.
No. The same study was conducted again in 2021 and found that 1 in 5 people are still not willing. So they haven't got those ones to budge. And I would venture to guess that a big portion of them are vegetarians and vegans who just like don't want to eat meat no matter what. And then another percentage of them that are just freaked out by the lab-grown meat thing, which is fair, is something that we need to get used to. But now 80% are at least somewhat likely to try it. So
Hey, we'll
the
try
willingness has
anything
gone
once.
up.
Good for them. I'm
Yeah.
proud.
Me too.
I
Try new
think-
things.
Yeah. I think I would try. I'd be interested just to be able to compare it at the very
Yeah.
least in trying it.
Yeah, it'd be good to like at least say you tried it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the only valid argument against cultivated meat that I've seen is the loss of livelihood for ranchers and farmers and just kind of that loss of like way of life for a lot of people. It's been a thing in some families for a generation, and I can understand why people are upset about losing that. And it is nice to have this idyllic image of your meat coming from the earth and a farm but like the reality is most of our meat and most of our food in general, that is not like it comes from a process of exploitation. And it's like, wouldn't you rather not feed into the horror? I don't know. Like
No other way to put it.
Like if you have an option, like I will never be that obnoxious person that like judges people for eating meat because we all make our own choices and there's a level of harm in everything we do. But like if you have the option to eat something that doesn't entail all that and like it's the same price and it's the same taste, why wouldn't you?
True
in my
that.
opinion.
And even the ones like chicken that is like grass-fed, whatever, that's ethically raised. That's just a marketing
It
thing.
is.
Like
It's
in
not-
reality, they're hoarded into these warehouses,
Yeah.
and they can slap that on the package as long as they have access, quote unquote, to grass and sunlight. But it can be
Yeah.
one little door.
Just a little sliver where they could possibly step out, but really they're like in piles on each other,
and they
covered
can't
in
move
feces in a
because
barn.
they're so fattened up and
Yeah.
on hormones.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And I could see in the future, if and when cultivated meat takes over the market, there might be boutique like natural meat available, and it I'm sure will be sold at a premium, and hopefully like that meat will be ethically farmed because it won't be necessary to do these factory farms. And if you're selling meat at a premium, it's like you could also say, like, this is ethically farmed, and this beef came from a giant field in
It's one of
Wyoming,
those,
and it's a good thing.
It's one of those cows you see on TikTok that
Yeah.
gets like the oil rub on their nose and the spa treatment.
Exactly.
And the gua sha.
Yeah. So like these small scale family owned ethical farms are not the problem. It's the industrial factory farming that is the problem. And hopefully cultivated meat takes care of that issue. Some farmers see the writing on the wall and have already begun entering into the cultivated meat space by investing in this technology and also phasing out animal farming. The technology for cultivated meat does exist right now, but we're waiting on advancements in technology to make it cost effective because it's still really expensive. It's still much more expensive than traditional meat. As recently as 2018, it cost a company called Memphis Meat. I think now they're called Just Eats or something. They're not called that anymore, but they were called Memphis Meat. It cost them $1,700 to produce 1 pound of meat.
Oh my God.
That was in 2018. In 2019, Eat Just was spending $50 to produce a single chicken nugget. And as of 2021, most cultivated meat companies report spending about $100 per serving of cultivated meat. So the prices are going down. At a pretty rapid pace. It's estimated that we'll see cultivated meat in grocery stores within 2 to 8 years.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
Will
that,
we even know it when we see it?
I think
Probably not.
we definitely will.
Well, the
It'll-
branding, but
They'll definitely tell
They'll
us
tell
what
us.
it is. It's kind of like how I remember growing up and only like Garden Burgers and Boca Burgers exist, but now we have Impossible and Beyond Burgers that taste almost exactly like the real thing. So I think that's just like,
It's just a matter of time.
step toward what the inevitable. I think this is inevitable. Like just
yeah, I
in
think so,
terms
too.
of environmental degradation, we cannot sustain our population eating meat. It's just not like, at least you know what I mean, farmed meat. It's
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
happen. But yeah, that is my lesson on cultivated meat, the future.
My gosh, we got to look into the future. Thank you for
You're
that
welcome.
lesson. Well, that's all, folks, for you on this episode. We're going to go record another one of Extra Credit over on Patreon. So thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next week for sure. And if you want to head on over for some extra fun facts this week, go to patreon.com/nightclassy. Thank you so much. Share the show with a friend. Join us on social media. Do all the things. 3, 2, 1.
Class dismissed.
Nice. Great episode.
Thank you.
This is super interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved both of y'all's topics.